Okay, should we start? Is my voice audible? Okay, so let's start with the first page. What do you find interesting or important in the first page? US official calls conflict in Ukraine war as Modi's war. Is it Modi's war or Putin's war or which war? So this is just about politics. Such comments people keep on making doesn't make much difference to us. Okay, this is happening because of the tensions between India and US. Okay, so nothing important as such for us. What else? Anything important on first page?
Nothing, sir.
Nothing.
India, Canada.
India, Canada name envoys signal end of diplomatic spat. So some tensions were going on between India and Canada since few years, but that was more or less because of the domestic politics of Canada. The party that was in power, the person who was in power, because of that such things were happening. Again, okay, not a great news as such. Okay, yes, industrial growth, that's relatively important, we can say. So industrial growth jumps to 4-month high of 3.5%. Okay, somewhat similar news we heard I think last month also. So this kind of news you will keep on getting. Okay, you'll keep on getting because these are monthly reports sometimes. Monthly, quarterly, or let's say yearly. Whenever such trend is being shown, we have to just observe what is happening. Now this is about the industrial growth. What is happening in our industries specifically is what we are trying to see over here. Now we have something called index of industrial production. What happened with this? Okay. So we have this index of industrial production through which we actually try to check how much industrial production is taking place. We are trying to measure, and specifically we want to know the growth in our industries, whether our industries are growing or what is happening, what's the trend. That is something we are trying to know through this index of industrial production. Now this is something released by this MOSPI ministry. What is MOSPI?
Ministry of Statistics.
So Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. This data is coming from the same ministry. Under this ministry there is this National Statistical Office who is preparing this index of industrial production. Now as a matter of fact, you should know that the base year that they have is 2011 to 12. What is base year? So they will actually compare their data with the data of 2011-12. Okay, whatever, let's say in this year this much production was happening in 2011-12. Now we are comparing with, let's say, 2025. So this much. So they'll compare how much growth is there. Okay, so this is the base year 2011-12, right? Now in this, when they calculate this index of industrial production, in that they have given some classification. All the major sectors, when you talk about industries, it will include your manufacturing part, mining part, electricity part, and they have given some weightage. For manufacturing, they have given 77.6% weightage. You can just remember somewhat 75% weightage is given to manufacturing, roughly. And then some part to mining, 14%, electricity, 7%. This is something you must know. Okay, this is very static thing about this IIP, which you must be aware of. Okay, now from the data of this index of industrial production, you will get to know about all the industries. Fine. Now out of this, you need to understand, when you look at your industries, there are some industries which are very important. Whatever growth you see, out of that, some industries are most important industries, or we call them core industries. So there are total 8 core industries you will find. And in this index of industrial production, this data, 40% of it comes from these 8 industries only. 40% is a substantial weightage, I'm saying. Okay, which it includes refinery products, electricity, steel, coal, crude oil, natural gas, cement, and fertilizers. Okay, so these are most important core industries, and this is arranged in the manner of the weightage they are given. There is a direct question asked on this topic earlier in prelims about this index of industrial production or these core industries also. So they ask about this. So you are expected to know about the industries, the core industries, and you should understand the trend. That's the basic expectation. Now what we do is we calculate how much industrial production is happening. This helps us in calculating GDP also. In GDP, we get to know how much we are getting from agriculture, how much contribution from industries, all that we calculate, am I right? So there it will be helpful for the government, for the policy makers. Next time, what we need to do, what policy action has to be taken, for that this data is very useful. Okay? Now, what is the recent news? If you see the recent news, industrial growth jumps to 4-month high of 3.5% over here. So if you see this data, January to July, so you can just observe the trend, what is happening in terms of the growth in the industries. Okay? Now, to be more specific, you can even see the sector-wise data. Manufacturing growth 5.4%, electricity 0.6% more, mining increased, capital goods, consumer durables, all these show positive trend. Okay, you don't need to remember these data, and these are very micro details, no need. Just observe, yes, we see some growth in these industries. They're doing decent. Okay? Any doubt with this? Try to remember, if you want to remember something, then remember this part. That's important. Okay? Next. Article from this editorial section. India's demographic dividend as a time bomb. What is demographic dividend? What is this terminology? Huh? Population is more. Working population is more. So what is working population? Okay, 15 to 59 age bracket. They are working age. So if they are more, what will happen? More economic growth? Manpower? Okay, you're right. Right on the same track. Now the article is trying to say that right now India is in the phase wherein we can have demographic dividend because we have one of the youngest population in India and largest working age population is living in India. Please, I repeat, largest working age population in the entire world is with India right now. That's why we are talking about this concept of demographic dividend. Now you see, working age, it could be 15 to 59 you can say, some people will say 15 to 64, okay, more or less they will not ask this micro detail also. The point is you need to understand these are those people who are not dependent. This age bracket is the bracket which we say can get involved in the economic activities. One who is above 60, 64, he's not having the good health to work in any of these economic activities. And a person below 15, he's also not capable because mind is yet to be developed. Am I right? So children and elderlies, they are not able to work, but rest all the population is capable of working. So when they work, they produce something or they are giving some contribution in the economic activities. So if you have a country where maximum people belong to this age bracket, which we call working age population. So even if you're not doing something really great, still the economic production and economic activities in your countries will be very more. Like we can say that automatically your production, all your economic activities, all your growth, that has to happen. So it is like, even if you have not done something great, just because of this kind of population, you will grow. Okay, logically you will grow. You will get one extra benefit which others are not getting. Let's say other country, they are also putting same efforts, you people are also putting same efforts. But because, and let's say our population is also equal, but because in our population, maximum people lie in this age bracket. So our economic production, productivity, everything will be high. Okay? If that happens, we call something as demographic dividend. Economic growth benefit from a large working age population versus these dependent people. Those above 60, those below 15, they are dependent on you people. They can't do anything, right? This population can do. But there is one thing. One thing is, this population needs to be provided with education, skill, their health should be good. If that is ensured and they get a job, only then you will get this demographic dividend. Dividend means some kind of profit, extra profit you are gaining. If they are not educated, useless. Let's say they are educated but they don't have skill, again useless. Let's say they are educated, they have skill, but in market there is no job, again useless. Getting the point? So these three things are necessary for this demographic dividend to happen, which can happen in case of India. We can suddenly grow and that growth will be humongous. Now in case, what if we are not providing this part? Let's say we are not able to provide education, or education is provided but we are not able to provide skill, or if we provided skill but we are not able to provide enough jobs. All this population, instead of creating this dividend, they will create a disaster for you. Because this population, instead of doing a good job, working somewhere, doing something, they'll come on the streets, they'll protest, they'll throw something. All these things will happen. So in such a country, it's a good thing as well as bad thing, having so many people in this age bracket. Getting the point? Any doubt with this? Now see this, India's median age, if you take the average age of Indian population, we are somewhere here, 29. Compare it with USA, their average age is 38. China, 39. Japan, 49. You can see how young India is. Okay, and how much potential we carry for a long time. Next 10, 20, 30 years, continuously we will grow, if right actions are taken in this aspect. If we failed, we will be in the worst position among all the countries. This is for sure. That's why the title of this article, what it says? Time bomb, yes. Demographic dividend as a time bomb. If you don't take timely actions, it will blast. Okay? Now what he says, the writer. He says, for example, right now we have this artificial intelligence, automation, all these coming into picture. Now because of artificial intelligence and automation, what will happen is suddenly everything will change. Suddenly all the jobs will be very different. Right now the jobs you see, maybe in next 4, 5 years, 10 years, those jobs will not be available. If we see the data, or if we see the scholars' estimates, they say 60 to 70% of the jobs that you see today, they will not be present after a few years because of AI and automation. But that doesn't mean jobs are gone. New jobs will be created. Okay, but those will be maybe AI based, automation based. You have to have that skill. You have to upgrade yourself to work in such a thing, right? So both things will be there. So World Economic Forum data, they say by 2030, 97 million new jobs will be created. That is their estimate. So this is an opportunity for India. We have the working population. We can grab this opportunity, right? And government has launched so many schemes also. For example, to provide skills. In India, we had one problem. We had education system. People were getting educated, but they were not having skills. For example, engineers. 80% of the engineers, after completing engineering, they don't get a job. Why? No skills. The skill that is needed in industry and whatever he studied, it doesn't match. Here in computer science, he studied C++. There they're asking for Python. There is no match. Okay, so you have to teach what is in the demand in the industry. At least there should be some connection between this academics and this industry, which was not there, because of which many of these students, even after completing graduation, not just about engineers, it's about most of the graduates, that they are not employable. Okay, even if they completed graduation, graduation is a big thing. Even after completing graduation, you are not employable. Nobody will employ you. That kind of problem we were facing. So government brought some schemes to ensure that you people have skills. So for example, you have this Skill India Mission, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendra, those were created, the centers where this skill can be provided. Likewise, so many other schemes. Okay? Now, moving ahead, what the writer is trying to say over here. First of all, our graduates are unemployable. That's one thing he has highlighted, right? Second, he says our curriculum is outdated and people have this obsession for degrees. They are not obsessed to learn the skill. They just have the obsession to complete the degree. That's it. Degree is needed. What did you learn? Nothing. That's the problem. They say only 7% of the students, they get career counseling. 93% of Indian students, they don't get any career counseling. So what they do, they go for what the society says or what is the traditional mindset saying. Which are the options? What is your career? What career you will choose? Either doctor or engineer or IAS. Done. So you people are also coming from the same stuff, right? So this is a problem, right? Then most of the people right now, they have smartphone, they have access to smartphone, but they are not good with the digital employability. There are jobs in the market which require this digital understanding, digital literacy. But even if you know, even if you have smartphone and all, you're not capable of getting that job. That shows our weakness. And if this continues, then the end result will be frustrated youth in India. And if youth is frustrated, it will come on the streets, and this will lead to a lot of protest, unrest, violence, and the scenes that you see in some other countries, right? If you don't want, they're saying, do something. Clear? Now, as far as institutional part is concerned, they're saying you brought so many schemes, government brought so many schemes. The problem is, these schemes are coming from multiple ministries. So it's like one ministry is coming up with one scheme, other one coming up with other scheme. Better approach would be all of you come together, bring all the funds together and bring one scheme and implement it properly. So this fragmented approach is not good. This is what the writer is trying to say. Then we have this new education policy which you anyway study. As part of your GS2 education theme, you should know new education policy. They say new education policy says that we want to give people the vocational skills. We want everyone to learn skills through the education system itself. But they're saying in letter you have written you will give this. In reality it is not happening, or even if it is happening, it's very slow. New education policy which is being implemented, the implementation is very slow. Again, we are very near to that time bomb. That's what he's saying. Clear? Then they give this example of East Asian economies. So in East Asia, we have South Korea, Taiwan, Singapore. See, these were also the countries which were having conditions very similar to us. But they have put in efforts in this aspect, education, skill, all this aspect very well, and they have performed really well. Okay, so from this example, they are trying to say we also need to do the similar thing. Clear? Any doubt what the writer is trying to say? Now, what could be the way forward, solution part? First thing, change your curriculum. Upgrade your curriculum in a way that you ensure that you are in touch with the industries. They say, focus on STEM as well as non-STEM. What is STEM? Science, technology, engineering and mathematics. That is STEM. They're saying focus on this part also and focus on non-STEM part also. So wherein your creativity, entrepreneurship, social science, these subjects should also be focused with the STEM. All these things need to be done. Give some counseling to students so that they don't just go for these traditional things, doctor, engineer and IAS. Look for so many opportunities, because right now so many new opportunities are coming up. Technology is changing, new jobs are being created, people don't know. Unless people know, how would they get into it? How would they think about that career? So this career counseling is needed. So what he's suggesting, at the nationwide, national level, state level, local level, you try to create some counselors or something, some infrastructure through which these students can get some career counseling. Okay, good one. Then he talks about vocational training and apprenticeship. What is called apprenticeship. So it's like this academics, let's say there's an engineering college. They should be in touch with one company, one industry, and together they can come up with some internship program. This internship, like in the 4th year, you will have this subject as internship only. You don't need to go to college, you go to this academics. So somehow bring that, which many of the colleges are doing right now. Some are doing, some are not doing. They're asking everyone to go for such things. And they ask for change in the mindset. Instead of having this degree obsession, show obsession for your skill and lifelong learning. Okay, and they also suggest some public private partnership. Government can have some kind of contact or some kind of funding can be provided by government, some funding by private sector, and through partnership you can bring all these reforms. Clear? That's what they're saying. Now these are good lines if you want to use in answers. Conclusion, it's good. Okay, any doubt about demographic dividend? Clear? Okay, next, which article is important? Or don't worry, I'll show. This article is important. So declining enrollments. So what is this UDISE plus? Any idea? They're saying school enrollment in 3 to 11 age group down by 25 lakh. Said by UDISE. Who is UDISE? Is this a human being or a robot or what? Very good. So first of all, look at this agency or what it is. UDISE plus, Unified District Information System for Education plus. So initially this UDISE, this came into picture in 2012 to 13. Later on it was upgraded with this plus version called UDISE plus. So this was brought by Ministry of Education. There's a department under Ministry of Education called as Department of School Education and Literacy. They wanted to get the data from all the schools. How many students are getting enrolled, at which age, how many schools, let's say primary level, secondary level, how many students are getting admission, how many are leaving, what's the dropout rate, everything. All these datas were being considered. So this is something online system. Okay, in this online system, all the data will be fed and we can see a trend through this. What's happening throughout India, because every school is putting their data, how many students got inducted and all. So you will get a good data from this. Okay. Now, if you see their parameters, enrollment by gender, by level, by age group, teachers, infrastructure, learning outcomes, gross enrollment ratio, net enrollment ratio, and dropout rates. All these things are added in this system. So it's a nationwide system to get complete data about our education system. Okay, authentic data? Fine. Now, what they are saying in this particular news, there is a concern that we can observe in this news. It says that enrollment of this age group 3 to 11 means class 1 to class 5, it has gone down by almost 25 lakh as compared to this 2021-22. So the number is down. Good news or bad news? We'll see, is it a good news or bad news first. So they have checked the data for pre-primary, primary, secondary, senior secondary, everything. In that they found out only for this pre-primary and primary, that is class 1 to class 5, here the number has gone down. Rest is okay. Here the number has gone down. So if you see rest of the data, it's all positive, somewhat positive we can say. So gross enrollment ratio in secondary 79%, then it became 80%. Higher secondary also good. Gender parity, girls boys ratio, it is 1.03 in primary. 1.03 means girls are more, boys are less. Very less, means it's not like a lot of difference is there, it's just 1.03. That's the mark it is showing. So good, no problem, there is parity. Even in higher levels, higher education, there is also somewhat parity. So this data also shows we are doing good. Okay, and dropout rates. Dropout means how many people are leaving the education in between. So secondary 14%, 12.5% it has become. So okay, we are improving. Upper primary 1.9%. So when I look at these trends, it seems things are going good. Just the concern is this one thing, that so many people, 25 lakh students, that data shows that 25 lakh people are not enrolling, less numbers have enrolled. So if we check the reasons why this could be happening or what is exactly happening over here. So just a second. The article tries to say that we have this NEP, New Education Policy, who said we are now going to focus on the foundational literacy. Earlier what was happening, we were not focusing on this early childhood care earlier, before this new education policy coming into picture. So with this new education policy, government said we will focus on early childhood care, early education, foundational literacy. They said this early age is very important for the development of child, development of his personality, development of his mind. So we will focus on that. Now ideally we said that, but when we look at this data, it seems number has gone down. So there is a mismatch what we can observe over here. Now what can be the possible reason? Number one, change in the demographics. Maybe the fertility rate has gone down. People are producing less babies. That's why less babies are coming to school. That's the simple understanding. Yes, because of less fertility rate, this might be happening. One thing. Second, some people migrate from one place to the other because of migration or because they have some economic pressure, or we call it something called push factor or pull factor, wherein you're pushed. Some people living in village pushes them to go to urban area because there is no job there. So they go to urban area. Urban area pulls them because it attracts, it has got jobs, it has got schooling, everything. So all these reasons, and somewhere there is a parental preference. Parents are preferring private tuitions or private coachings over this academics which is traditionally present over there. So these are the possible reasons. There is no like guaranteed reason we can tell. This is just an analysis wherein we are trying to understand why 25 lakh people suddenly this number has gone down. So these are the possible reasons. Okay? Any doubt? Confusion? No? Easy? Then last article. So which sectors are worst hit by the tariffs of Mr. Donald Trump? So see, he has been putting tariff, but I think yesterday was the date from when we were expecting that these tariffs will become applicable on India. We were expecting maybe by this date there will be some negotiation and either the date will be extended or some deal will happen, something will happen, we expected. But that did not happen. India-US relations with respect to this economic aspect at least, right now they are not doing well. Okay, we don't know what will happen, we'll see that. Maybe after a few days we'll come to know, we'll get some news. Right now, because he initially put 25% tariff, then again he put 25% tariff, so total 50% tariff on our goods which India is selling to US market. So now exactly which sectors will be affected? So these are the sectors. Number one, textiles and garments. Now important sector for us, because if you see textile sector in India, it is very labor intensive. So many people work there. You need to understand one thing. India has a lot of population, right? And we have so many people working in agriculture. Our core problem is we want to bring those people from agriculture and put somewhere in service or manufacturing, right? Because in agriculture we don't need so many people. So the best way is to put them in manufacturing and not service sector, because even service sector cannot absorb so many people. And these people are not so skilled enough to get into service sector. For service sector you need very high skill set. Okay? So if you have a very low skill set or you don't have any skill set, it's a problematic thing for you. So what you need to do? You have to focus on manufacturing sector. So here, see this thing, in the manufacturing sector, there are some industries which are labor intensive. That means there so many people are needed to work. Okay? Textile is one of them. It's a highly labor intensive. Means for India, this textile sector is very important sector, because so many people will be absorbed in this sector. And this sector is substantially hit. Good news or bad news? Very bad news. Very good. Who answered? Very good. Now, apart from that, agriculture and food products, those will be affected. Then steel and aluminium, electronics and machinery, auto components and engineering goods, and government response. No, that's a different thing. Now the point is there's one more industry in this, that's called pharmaceuticals. Now America is smart. They're like, we're not putting so much tax on pharmaceuticals. Why? Because they need medicines. Okay, that's how things work. Transactional politics and transactional economics. Clear? So that's all you should know. Just observe. Again, you're not supposed to remember all these things. Just have a look at it. Which sectors are gaining, which sectors are being hit. Just have a brief idea. Okay? Any doubt?
Can India increase prices on the pharmaceuticals?
Pharmaceuticals?
The tariffs? Can India retaliate by increasing prices?
See, it's our product. We are selling in American market. Even if we retaliate.
The demand in America, they're totally dependent on.
So you're saying we will increase the price. Then in that case, there will be some other countries who also produce similar medicines. They will sell and you will be like, your price will be high. Why will they buy? Simple. India is good in pharmaceuticals, first of all. Okay? So it is not good. We always try to have our product at low cost so that maximum people buy it. Tariff is increasing the price. Okay? Any other doubt? No? Okay then. Thank you so much. We'll meet whenever we want to meet. Okay? Thank you. What's happening? Rainfall? Hey, already there is flooding news I am getting from Maharashtra and this area, Telangana. So be ready for flooding. I should use some Telugu words. I know only few words. When I came to Hyderabad, I just learned one sentence. Naku Telugu raadu. I'm from Maharashtra. But I was in Delhi. Not since childhood. I went to Delhi to teach. Then I came back because Delhi is not good. Climate is worse.